Good morning, Phoenix. I'm Tara, the Student Council Vice President.
And I am Nia. We are your student broadcasting network for Innovation Students by Innovation Students.
On the first day of the week, we will bring you the latest local news and updates about what matters most important to us, the students.
I don't know about you all, but I enjoyed the President's Day holiday and the 3-day weekend. Now that we are back, we want to keep recognizing and celebrating Black History Month.
There's a lot going on. We hope you can come out and attend some of the happenings going around at IHS.
Last Friday, Ms. Kacharski and the film club showed the movie The Hurricane, about the famous boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter. If you haven't seen it, the movie is another example of the challenges that African Americans face in the 20th century.
This Friday, we will be watching Good Hair, a film produced by Chris Rock. In Good Hair, Chris Rock travels the world, going from beauty salons to science labs to uncover the mystery of African American hair. Chris Rock discusses the purpose of weave and how it has become so tied to a woman's sense of self-esteem. The film will start at 2:15 in Ms. Kacharski's room. We hope to see you all there.
To teach us more about Black history, we have Mr. Jackson's Jack's Black Facts, read to us by students James Sparrow and Jessica Hayes.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm going to read you Jack Black's fact in honor of Black History Month. Did you know that all slaves were generally banned from education, especially in the area of reading and writing? If slaves were found learning how to read or write, they could face being beaten, tortured, or even killed. As a result of this, W.E.B. Du Bois and others estimated by 1865, when slavery was abolished, only 9% of slaves obtained at least a marginal degree of literacy. After slavery, the Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws were racial segregation laws enacted between 1876 and 1965 in the United States at the state and local level. They mandated racial segregation in the public facilities in southern states of the former Confederacy, with a separate but equal status for African Americans. The practice of separating races led to conditions for African Americans that tended to be inferior in comparison with those provided for white Americans. This systematized a number of economic, educational, and social disadvantages. Some examples of Jim Crow laws are the segregation of public schools, public places, and public transportation, and the segregation of restrooms, restaurants, and drinking fountains for blacks and whites. The U.S. military was also segregated. The end of the Jim Crow era began as state-sponsored school segregation was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court of the United States in 1954 in Brown v. Board of Education. The remaining of Jim Crow laws were overruled by the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
Action.
Thanks, James and Jessica. Very informative.
We have several other things going on at Innovations this month. Innovations will be hosting a poetry and rap competition. Submit your written pieces to Ms. Kacharski by Friday, February 21st. Be prepared to perform them after school Wednesday, February 26th. The winner will get to be principal for the day, which includes lunch with your principal, Mr. Moore.
Your first period classes will compete in a Black History Month Jeopardy Bowl. The winners will represent his or her class at the Ubuntu Assembly. The winner of the Jeopardy Bowl at the Assembly will win a catered breakfast for their entire class.
In honor of Black History Month, we have Innovation staff members performing speeches and writings of famous African Americans.
This week we have Mr. Ireland reading the I Have a Dream speech, the famous speech by Dr. Martin Luther King.
Good day, everyone. This is Dean Ireland of Innovations High School. I'm joining you today during this time of the celebration of the influence, intelligence, integrity, invention, and achievements of African Americans. As I said, this particular speech that I chose, this excerpt that I chose from a speech, is one that you've heard a million times. However, the portion that I chose is one that many individuals may have never known the person who wrote the words, or never heard. Because so many times we are caught up in the dream versus the reality. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still badly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of this moment. This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. At the end, or in this end of this year, it is not an ending, but simply a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off some steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if this nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundation of our nation until the bright days of justice emerge. For many individuals, this may be something that you're hearing for the first time. However, this is simply the beginning of the I Have a Dream speech. So many people get caught up in the ending, in the dream itself. But make no mistakes, Dr. King was well aware of society, our place in it, and the things that were going on during those times that continue to be an issue in today's time. The outfits have changed, but the circumstances remain as they were in many places. So let us not forget those great individuals who made the sacrifices to both get us where we are now, as well as laying the groundwork for where we must go. Thank you.
Thanks for that excellent performance, Mr. Ireland.
In other announcements, the poetry team is performing their first preliminary bout for the Louder Than a Bomb Citywide Youth Poetry Slam on Friday, February 21st. See Mrs. Cortilla for details if you want to come out and support the team.
Commit to your New Year's resolution to stay healthy. Join the Fit and Fine Club, which meets Wednesdays after school in room 302.
It may be cold outside, but let's start planning now for our Spring Break National College Tour. This year's tour will be traveling to Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Ohio. See Ms. Oliver for trip details and scholarship information.
Picture Day is returning. On Thursday, March 6th, we will have retakes for Picture Day. If you missed out on the last Picture Day, be sure to come with your smile. If you're interested in purchasing pictures, see the forms in the lunchroom. As before, it will be a full uniform day. Seniors have the option of bringing a change of clothes to change into in the photo studio.
Student Council is looking for creative people to design the yearbook. Join us in Miss Mary's room this Thursday after school.
Please check out Innovation's journalism website, Riding Life's Waves. At the website listed below, you can view student videos and read student articles that are created by the students for the students.
The prom will be held on Friday, June 6th. All students and senior fees must be paid prior to purchasing a prom ticket. See Ms. Oliver for details.
Last Tuesday, the Innovations Phoenix basketball team outplayed Johnson High by a score of 56-36. Innovations now stands at the top of the conference with an 8-1 record, with an opportunity to enter the playoffs as the number 1 seed. There are only 5 games left in the regular season, so if you haven't made it out to a game, be sure to come this Tuesday to Jackson Park at 5:30.
That is all we have for this week. So until next time,
Keep rising, Phoenix.
The practice of separating
Let's be real.